When did you realize your friends were actually fake friends? When I quit drinking, and no one was interested in doing anything that didn't involve alcohol. They chose booze over me. Look up the 2 beers and a puppy rule of thumb. Is this person someone I'd have 2 beers with, but not trust my puppy? They're great to hang around and shoot the shit with, but probably a bit flaky on the more practical things. Would you trust your puppy to them, but not want to have 2 beers with them? Solid person to fall on for practical assistance, even if they're a bit of a dick. You'd want both with them? Great friend. Neither? Really rethink this relationship. When I overdosed and no one called 911. When I read things like this, I always read it as the people being the victim and their friends are the shitty ones. Then I remember that I have group chats without certain people or don't invite certain friends to events. It's not that I dislike them, it's just that often they get too drunk, cause conflict or do things that are just rude. Then I realize, maybe they would be commenting on here and from their perspective, they are the victim. All you need to do is quit your job. You'll see all your work friends dry up real quick. If anyone ever leaves you someplace stranded, especially if you're intoxicated, they aren't your friend. I messaged one I thought I was quite close to go out. She messaged me back saying she was sick. Normally I would just stay in if this happened. So I said screw it, I'll go out. I went over to where I normally meet someone I know in our pub and she comes bouncing out of the crowd all laughing and energetic. She stops dead in shock and just says I got better. I cut her out after one of our friends' father died and she tried to organize a guard of honor. My father passed away and she never even showed up. We live in the same village. When a bunch of them all met up for a belated lockdown 40th birthday drink and the first I heard about it was on Facebook where they all tagged themselves into the photos. I'm a 40 years old guy and that just broke my heart a bit. When James Corden hosted our reunion and I wasn't even invited. I'm 61 years old. I have 2 real friends. All the rest are acquaintances. And those 2 also are the only ones that would go to jail for me, lie for me and never change their story no matter what. You could even call them at an ungodly hour for whatever and never leave me hanging, when all the acquaintance have and would. So if they can't do that, they're not friends but simply acquaintances. My father died from cancer. Nothing from them. Not a phone call, text, email, tweet, etc. to offer any sort of condolences or support. The people who did show up for me, they're still some of my best friends and I'm grateful for them. I got invited to a Halloween sleepover and I was excited because it was going to be my first sleepover ever. Turned out the girl wanted me to help her put up decorations and leave before her actual sleepover guests arrived. Embarrassed smiley face, it hurt my soul. I didn't come over naturally because I had some self-respect. Childhood friend, 2 years younger than me, when I finished school realized he was only using me because I had a PS2 and some other cool toys, plus he tried to get me on a few occasions to steal alcohol from my parents. Few years ago found out from an old neighbor that he's in jail for transporting €1 million in coke. I had a pickup. It was amazing how many friends didn't want to hang out with me after I got rid of it. Got a call about 6 months after I had traded the pickup off on a car. My friend was like, hey, long time no talk. So we talked for a few minutes. He goes, what are you doing tomorrow? I said I'm going to wash my new car. I had heard he was moving and of course he wasn't aware that no longer had the pickup. He ended the conversation not too long after that. Never heard from that friend again. One of them catfished me for about a month, almost all of them were in of it. Only one eventually worked up the balls to tell me, and several actively lied when I brought my suspicions to them. They also wanted to slip MDMA in my drink to see if it'd make me less angry about it. Fuck 'em. I just kind of realized I was the background friend. People always called me when they had a problem and needed my help with it. My job is the type of job that people seem to think that I love freelance for without pay. So I would constantly get hey how are yous followed up with so I'm having this issue with, job relevant thing. I stopped answering these questions outside of my defined work hours and directed people to my work email with any questions. Apparently that makes me an asshole and I kind of fell off people's radar. I'm not sure how I feel. I'm married, so I mostly just hang out with my husband in terms of people. I also have 2 dogs and 2 horses and I love hanging out with them too. I like to just grab a book and a picnic lunch and ride out with them, find a cool place and just kind of exist. I'm reading a book, the dogs are playing and the horses are grazing. Life is honestly not that bad. I noticed most of the conversations were started by me. And they'd just always hang out without me. Also they told me, can you reduce being gay, it makes me uncomfortable cause I can't relate to it. So yeah. When I stopped selling drugs. When they thought I was bad news to be associated with. When I started to go back to college. When they thought I wasn't taking my life seriously. Just got accepted into College of Engineering at my university and my girlfriend is in school to be an RN. They're bitter now. Me and 3 other guys were supposedly all best friends. I found out 2 of them were banging my fiancé, and the 3rd knew all about it and didn't say a word. Funny thing is, I was more sad than angry. I didn't want to get any sort of revenge, I just wanted all of them to leave me alone. A few weeks after this all broke, one of the guys who was banging her snuck up on me at a party and sucker punched me. I never saw it coming. Apparently he assumed I wanted to fight him, so he attacked me first. I cut them all completely out of my life. Joined the military. I recently found out the guy who didn't say anything died about 2 years back, and I found out my ex didn't make it to 30. I used to be a mechanic, and it's staggering how many people were friends because they needed me to fix shit for them. My so-called friends invited me to a party, and then at the last moment, they texted the group that no one's coming and the party is cancelled. Well, they had the party that day. Everyone went there. They just had decided they didn't want me there cause I was boring and not a fun person, so they told me that there was no party happening. It hurt a lot, it was a terrible day for me. My wedding. I invited friends from college to my bridal shower and nobody showed up. A few had legitimate reasons, and I wasn't upset about them. When I kept getting RSVPs for the actual wedding, I was disappointed, but nothing was going to ruin my special day. However, my favorite was when I had to call my college roommate because I hadn't received her RSVP. Her excuse? Oh, it's on my birthday. That's it. That's all she said. I just asked if it was a yes or no, but she gave me that excuse. Macron / Macron. When I flipped them over and discovered the Made in China sticker, joke. But seriously. I am a giver to my friends and loved ones. Giving without explanation of any return. During the years my wife has continued to complain about my fake friends claiming they are around me for my generosity only. She asked me to be a bit selfish and ask something of those she suspected of being fake. So I did and, well, most of those so-called friends suddenly disappeared or found themselves extremely busy with other, more important, matters than to help a friend in need. For some it took just a text to make them disappear, others a call. What can I say? I am lucky to have a partner who is very emotionally intelligent. She read them with ease. As for my remaining best friends, I say, thank you for being there when I needed you, and I'll be there for you. Love you all. Ended up in hospital after trying to commit a suicide. None showed up. I was there alone. My mates from uni only came and visited me in hospital when their girlfriends, who I was good friends with, spent £20 on a round train ticket to come see me. Assuming it was because they thought it would look bad on them. Bear in mind they were there at the time I got injured and none of them bothered to message me asking if I was okay. When you were always the one left out of group outs and I'd see they've been out on FB. Damn bro, this thread has taught me that people are really shitty. Probably when I stopped playing football. I suffered my third concussion in a short amount of time and decided that I couldn't keep playing the game, and almost every single one of my teammates immediately stopped talking to me and acted like I didn't exist or got mad at me for abandoning the team. I was upset at first, but most of them were toxic, hyper-masculine, Republican jerks. I have much better friends today.